All right, moving on to the Cavs, by the way. I'm sorry, I got the baseball, so I keep hitting the thing with the baseball. I'm sorry. Do you think fans are laying down the challenge right now to the Cavs? Do you think fans are confident because the postseason is starting?
I have not heard a ton of confidence
I'm not finding
from anybody.
I'm not finding a lack of confidence from fans. I just think the gauntlet has been laid by the fans. The challenge has been laid by Cavs fans.
As well they should now. Like I've been annoyed with a lot of Cavs fans who have been wake me up when the playoffs start. Okay, but we're here. The playoffs are here. So now I don't understand if you've been in the wake me up when the playoffs start. The playoffs are here, and now the next rung of your fandom is, all right, got to prove it every game. Like, yeah, it's the playoffs. That's what we're all in this for. That's what every team has to do. No team is celebrating right now championships. It's about going to play as long as you can and start to vanquish the opponents in front of you. And that's what the playoffs are all about.
Fair.
So in the meantime, it's time to have some fun. Like you have the Toronto Raptors should not go longer than 5. And obviously, I'm hoping for a sweep. And then after that, it's Detroit. They're the 1 seed. I think you're going to be favored. If not favored, it's going to be 50-50.
See, that's the entire point of what you just said. You don't even realize it. When you have expectations of not just winning a series, but how the series should go, I think that's the difference for a lot of fans. That's why they're challenging the Cavs more than they are lining up and being excited. If this was year one, like I remember, what was the year they had the play-in game? They started having the injuries, and then I remember I watched the play-in game where I think they got bounced.
By Trae Young.
Trae Young.
Yes.
They were actually like the 7.
Yes.
They were the top seed, and they ended up not making
We
the
lost
playoffs.
both games. We lost to Brooklyn.
The other airport is
Atlanta.
The other airport is Midway in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
That's because I watched it from that airport. That was like a fun, hey, we're just getting to the postseason. We're back. Finally, we're back. It's been a while since LeBron's gone. It's not that way anymore. Now we've reached this point where like the first years, like if you're a Pistons fan, like, all right, let's let it fall where it may. I understand that you're the number 1 overall seed, but there's a lot of things that can go your way or not go your way. And it's your first foray into the postseason. Like, I think it's a lot of house money. I think fans kind of miss house money as opposed to this is all pressure. I mean, when you're talking, you just hit it. When we're sitting here having really big discussions about how far a first-round playoff series is allowed to go, you're under a lot of pressure. And I don't think fans respond very well to the pressure of the Cavs because the Cavs have not responded very well to pressure in the past here over the last few years.
No, they haven't. But why I've been excited all year about this opportunity is I look around at the other teams in the Eastern Conference and I'm like, we can beat them. We can beat them. We can beat them. We can beat them. And the one team that I am most nervous about, Boston, like their fans don't know how this is going to go. Like, yeah, they think they're going to come out of the East, but they know they're not as good as they were on paper as last year. All right? They're not. Like, they had Porzingis, they had Holiday.
True.
Porzingis was a unicorn. Holiday was a champion.
True.
Like, they are not as confident as they were. So that's why I said at the start of the season, this is wide open. And here we are.
All right.
Here we are on the doorstep. They're playing Saturday.
precipice.
We are here ready to embark on a playoff run. I know that we're going to have some amazing moments like Donovan Mitchell. That guy in the playoffs has had incredible moments. Yes, his teams have not gotten past the second round, but Donovan Mitchell has authored up some of the best playoff moments in the last 7 years in the NBA since the COVID year when he was putting up against Jamal Murray and Denver, putting up 50-point performances. Like, he's had all these 40-point games in the playoffs. Like, that's stuff you should get excited to see. And Donovan Mitchell has said it, and I'm not telling tales out of school because Chris Fedor is writing about it, but he told Chris.
Am I allowed to read what he writes about?
Sure, absolutely.
No,
he told Chris he thinks this team he's the most optimistic he's been on any of his teams that he's been in the NBA about making a deep playoff run.
2-1. Well, that's incredible news to hear for a lot of people, and they should be excited. Of all the texts that you get, that should be an exciting one. 216-474-0092. So what are the expectations for the Cavs? Are you confident, or are you laying the challenge to this Cavaliers team as a Cavs fan? You could be a Cavs fan and be questioning of the Cavs, even as we go into the postseason. We got to allow it for conversation. I think there's expectations here of what this team should get, and I think that they are holding them to these expectations. This is a different offseason than what we've seen in quite a while. Or, excuse me, a different postseason, getting ready for a postseason than what we've seen in quite a while here. And I think that that's going to be a little annoying to you, Anthony. But he's nodding his head like, yep. But I'm telling you, like, if they go out there on Saturday afternoon, game time, 1 o'clock, Toronto Raptors coming to town, not the Hawks. Thought it might have been the Hawks, and the Hawks played nobody.
Right. They wanted
yesterday.
to dodge you. The Hawks, guys, you have a team that other teams are trying to dodge, and yet you guys are down on the team.
Got a whole lot of tough talking Hawks fans in my mentions on Friday, and they all went away some way, somehow, when you don't play anybody
this is
in
my
your final
question.
game of the season.
I understand that everybody is kind of side-eyeing the Cavs and saying, prove it. Okay, yes, that's what the playoffs are about. Every team has to prove it, right? The Oklahoma City Thunder are trying to prove that they can be back-to-back champs. Everybody's got something to prove. You're not unique in that regard. My question is, are you guys like watching these games with your arms folded, sitting down? Or like if you buy a ticket to a playoff game, are you going to be sitting there going, why are they playing so much music about these Cavalanches? Why are they getting excited? This team has to prove they can win the final.
I think some people will. I think some people will.
Are you going to the bars watching the Cavs playoff games?
I think some are.
Like, I can't imagine being a sports fan. Then why even watch? Like, who cares?
I mean, we've gotten to the point.
Why even try to watch?
I agree. It's gotten a little bit ridiculous. Like, John came in here before the show. It's like, well, can they? Like, he brought it up. Is it enough to just sweep the Raptors, like, if they win by a combined, what does he say, 15 points? Like, he goes, what if you sweep and they win by a combined 15 points? I'm going,
so now just winning the games isn't enough.
It's like, guys, we're trying to find anything we can to be negative about this team.
They have to be wire-to-wire winners.
And so, but I have to understand why. Like, I think that's how the fans feel. I can yell at them all I want for them feeling that way. I want to understand why they feel that way. And if I find it to be a terrible reason for them feeling that way, then maybe I'll yell at them for it. But you go with the history, and I think a lot of fans, they flip switches, they've listened to us, they've been excited, and then they've fallen apart in the postseason. And so when they fall apart in the postseason, when you've done it 4 years in a row, people are thinking differently about how this team's going to be. Well, it's up to them. And by the way, I'm not using the S word when it comes to this team. I don't think that they're soft. I didn't think that they lost in a soft way last year. I think they just got beat by a better basketball team that was a tough matchup for them. That team, it wasn't like that team just petered out in the next round. They went to the NBA Finals. They took them to 7 games. And if Tyrese Halliburton wouldn't have gotten hurt, I think they could have won that basketball game. So they could have been defending champions for all we know. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that that's soft, but there are labels that follow around a team. Plus, can I tell you this?
And by the way,
can I share another thing?
They've earned those labels.
I think, and this is not me calling you guys out. If I want to call you out, I'll call you out. I think there's a lot of fans. Because how many different networks are you playing on? So I'm serious about this.
All of them?
And what do we all say about the regular season of the NBA? They don't care. The NBA regular season doesn't matter. I think there's going to be some people who have watched, who are Cavs fans. They believe themselves to be Cavs fans, who will probably be watching their 7th, 8th, 9th Cavs game of the year on Saturday. I think that there's a lot of folks like that. Like, they're just going, why should I care about the regular season? You guys all tell me not to care about the regular season, to the point where it's becoming a major problem to the NBA about people not caring about the regular season. They're trying to throw every single gimmick they can at it. And I think there's a lot of people who consider themselves Cavs fans. They might have a Cavs jersey. They went to a game last year, maybe even went to a game this year. And that counts. And they're probably watching their 7th, 8th, 9th Cavs game of the year. And so they don't see the ins, outs, and what have yous. They just look at a team that's been a disappointment in the postseason over the last 5 years, and they have been. I can't deny that. They've been soft in the past, even though they weren't last year. I don't think that they were soft, but they feel one way or another, and that the Cavs need to go out and prove differently. And until the Cavs prove differently, they're going to feel the same way on the Cavs. And to them, that's the Cavs' fault. That's not their fault. And Donovan, when he said it himself, Owen's the barometer for that. When Donovan said it himself, Owen said at the end of last year that sets up for the next year. And here we are, and there's a malaise amongst Cavs fans. This is not the usual. I have not gotten one person today calling in, emailing, nothing, going, Cavs just made the postseason. Why aren't you talking about the Cavs? And by the way, we've talked a lot about the Cavs today, but people here, we live in your world, you don't live in ours. So if like someone gets in the car at 7:45, they don't hear Cavs, they're not getting mad. They're not getting mad. So it's up to the Cavs. I can try to rah-rah all I want, and so can you. It's up to them to change it, because I think that this is a perfect matchup for them against Toronto. I think, it's not perfect because you haven't played them in a long time, but I think it's a pretty good matchup against Toronto.
They're huge favorites.
I think it's a perfect matchup against Detroit in the next round, and maybe I'll eat those words, By the time you get to Boston, you get to Boston. But I think a lot of people are going, okay, wake me up when you get to Boston in the Eastern
Why
Conference
weren't we
Finals.
talking about Toronto for the last 2 weeks?
Because there really wasn't. We didn't think there were that much of a possibility. We thought it was going to be Atlanta.
There were some people trying to put
Last week they had the 5 spot.
In Lima, well, we brought it up a little bit.
There were people
Not until Friday.
There were people trying to put the fear of God in Cavs fans about the Atlanta Hawks. I was not one of them.
No,
neither I
me.
was not nearly as worried about the Hawks, and I'm certainly not worried about this version of.
You also weren't worried about the Pacers last year.
I thought there
was
were
not
some
worried
issues.
about the Pacers. He was. I wasn't.
I came on and said there were some issues.
He said it'd be tough. It'd be a
5
tough
games.
series, but he said 5 games.
I thought it'd be a tough 5 games. And then, what's funny is some of those games were so close. Like, they were tough games. You blew the lead in the one, and next thing you know, Darius is injured. DeAndre Hunter was done after the first game, and then obviously the Evan Mobley injury stuff that popped up. But needless to say, like, you got to be healthy, and that's a big part of it. But there are no excuses now. There are no excuses for this team. If they lose to Detroit in the second round at JB Bickerstaff, the guy you fired because you thought he couldn't get you over the hump, then you made the Harden trade, a guy that's 10 years older than the guy you sent to the Clippers. Like, no, you're done. Like, guys are going to get fired, and you're going to be making significant moves.
Understood.
That we all know the stakes.
But that pressure is why a lot of people might be going south on him.
But I
here's
think
what I don't
it's
get.
the time, though.
Here's what I don't get. Okay, so sorry, Owen, real quick. Yes, the pressure is there for this team. It's on Donovan. It's on Evan. We're going to do shows all over Cleveland this week. Who's the most pressure on? And then, Brian Windhorst said last
already
week.
gonna say Evan.
He said it's Kobe Altman. Whatever. We can do the power rankings all week long. All right, in the lead up to the game about where the pressure is. But does that change the excitement level of the playoffs?
Well, no, and that's
here.
That's where I wanted to get to was I was totally out, and then they made the Harden trade, and I came back into it, right? But now we're finally to the point where Donovan said 82-0, it wouldn't matter. Well, we're through that now. Cool. We're through it now. Now it's time to, for anybody that was cynical, it's time to lock back into them again. So maybe it takes a week of learning about the opponents, right? Maybe people don't know. That's honestly, I don't know anything about the Raptors other than we lost to them 3 times, and that all happened before Thanksgiving.
Brian Windhorst said it was on Kobe.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I think he thinks
he's to him. That's kind of a cop out.
He thinks he's going to lose his job probably if he doesn't get past the second round.
Well, yeah, but he had to do what he had to do. Like I just kind of feel it's a bit of a cop out. I mean, I think there's other decisions to be critical of Kobe Altman for in the past, but like what the James Harden, like you did what you had to do.
Well, that's a significant move because you got older and the window changes. Like now,
are you going to go further with Darius Garland though?
No, I look, I'm on board. I'm totally on board. And has anybody noticed Darius' last 6 games against 4 teams actually trying to win? He is struggling mightily, and Clippers fans are starting to turn their back already on Darius. Honeymoon is over.
That's life with Darius. Love Darius.
In April.
Wish him well.
That's what happens when the calendar turns for little Darius.
That's a good point. You did it again.
What?
I know what you said.
Used a descriptor.
You used a descriptor in there, and I hope that the aggregators get your name right, not mine. Todd in Akron, you're first up on the fan. Hello, Todd.
Hello. Thank you for taking my call.
Glad to have you. Go ahead.
I don't know what y'all looking at, but Toronto should be the favorite.
No, they shouldn't.
There you go. All right, go ahead, Todd. Why?
Why? I mean, they beat them 3 games in a row. They got the length. They got the physicality. I don't see how the Cavs going to come out the first round. Not with Toronto.
So
Vegas better off with Atlanta.
So Vegas has it wrong that the Cavs are minus 650
they got it wrong.
in the series.
I would tell Vegas that they got it dead wrong.
They haven't beaten the Cavs since November. They haven't played or beaten the Cavs since November 24th. James Harden was not on this team. Exactly.
DeAndre Hunter was starting.
Lonzo Ball and DeAndre Hunter were starting for the teams for the Cavs in those games.
Well, we still got to wait to see what James Harden going to show us. But I still see the same thing.
Oh, so you just heard so we got to walk those comments back now, don't we? Just say I walk those comments back, and we'll be fine.
What are you scared of? R.J. Barrett? Is that who you're scared of?
Just say you're going to walk those comments back.
Yeah, it's not about being afraid. I see clearly.
I didn't say you were afraid. I didn't say you're too loud to be afraid. I'm not saying you're afraid. I just think you need to take your comments back.
Are you scared about Jakob Poeltl?
No, we don't even know if James Harden going to show up. You can't guarantee that.
Already.
Right?
You said that already.
I think he's going to show up in games 1 through 5. If it goes
against
6 or
Toronto,
7, you might get a little nervous.
Against Toronto? Okay. Just want to make sure that we had nothing else left to
I
say.
think he's having fun.
Kyle and Wadsworth. Hello, Kyle.
I hope so.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Nothing much, Kyle. Go right on ahead.
Well, I want to piggyback off Todd. I get what he's saying. Toronto, they're not easy. I don't think we'll sweep them, but I don't think we need to worry about Jakob Poeltl at this point and guys who've never really won a playoff series other than tailing off Pascal Siakam. But with this Cavs team, man, they just got to get healthy. That's the biggest thing the past 2 years. Like you said, the Evan Mobley injury, DeAndre Hunter going out. Tyrese Halliburton hit how many game winners in the whole playoff series, like the whole playoffs last year? I mean, we were a Tyrese Halliburton legendary run away from even making the conference finals, and we had injuries. Harden's going to help Mitchell get over the hump. Mitchell and Harden got the most to prove. Neither of them, one can't get past the second round. One can hardly make it to the finals.
Their health is obviously of the utmost importance. Kyle, we all know that. But we have reached the place now where I can't say it. Like if something terrible were to happen in the postseason, then I guess I got to recalibrate everything. But they got the setup the way they want. Like I will say too, like Todd, I totally disagreed with. The Toronto shouldn't be favored, right? You know that.
No,
but
not a chance.
It is up to them to back up everything that, frankly, they've been saying, that Anthony and I have been saying. Like, the challenge is there. And I can't blame a Cavs fan over the last 4 years. I can't blame a Cavs fan that sat there and listened to us say this over this segment and said, yeah, Kenny, you've been saying that for 4 years. Yeah, Tone, you've been saying that for 4 years. Like, there's a lot of stuff where, hey, you wanted it set up this way. You got it the way you want it set up. Now you have to go out there and execute and at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And frankly, they need to make a series against Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, because if they get swept in 4 games at full strength, that ain't going to go over well either with this fan base.
Couldn't agree more. And I agree with what you said earlier about the Raptors-Pistons setup back-to-back series, because we've proved we can't beat the Knicks. We've proved we can't beat the Celtics. So I'm hoping we can take it to JB and the Pistons.
Knicks
This is the deepest Cavs team we've had in years.
You're right about the
healthy or not.
Yeah, they are healthy.
Kyle, thank you.
Look, the Knicks. That was a rough series, without a doubt. It was also, a few years ago. Like I thought, we're a long way since that Knicks team, and I don't know.
Except for the guys that got beat up by the Knicks are still on the roster.
Yeah, but you know what? I watched them. I watched us play them this year. The last time we played them, I'm sorry, I wasn't as scared about that Knicks team as I might have been. I mean, they made their all-in moves, and yet the Cavs still have better championship odds. Like, their fans aren't that confident about the Knicks at all. They honestly, they've been talking about Mike Brown as a one and done. And everything that they do is going to be based on
you think
the
that's
playoffs
even
too.
They're not that confident about the Knicks against the Cavs? Because I think that changes things.
I think it'd be a great series. I mean, it's not like I'm dismissing the Knicks.
I think if you're any other team in the Eastern Conference right now, you've got to look at the Cavs and go, oh, they haven't shown you anything in the playoffs the last couple of years that resembles tough and grit.